All hell is breaking loose as world leaders are revoking their support against Donald Trump and his despicable regime. Just yesterday, we saw the Italian government getting closer to where Spain is in questioning the U.S.'s ability to use Italian resources or air bases in the U.S.-Israeli-Iran conflict. A defense minister in Italy is acknowledging the illegality of the attack under international law. Alberto Lamano writes, and as Dave Keating explained, something is shifting right now. For the first 4 days of this war, Spain was the only EU government willing to criticize the United States-Israeli attack as a violation of international law. Then France joined, then Slovenia joined, then the UK joined, then Canada joined. Now Italy is the appeasement dam breaking. Also, every damn thing that Donald Trump and this despicable Trump regime is saying are lies. Remember when they previously said, oh, the United States has air superiority over Iran, which, by the way, by now, it better damn well have air superiority over Iran based upon the vast resources of the United States. But editor-in-chief of the War Zone, Tyler Rogaway, is saying the U.S. and Israel have not achieved full air supremacy over Iran, despite their claims. More lies from the Trump and Netanyahu regimes. There are only areas of localized air superiority, while Iranian mobile air defense still pose risks. The shift to direct airstrikes over Iran increases operational risk for aircraft. Iran still has road, mobile, and hidden air defense systems that can hide and pop up out of nowhere. And as Rogaway notes, the airspace isn't some sanitized zone, and achieving total air supremacy has not occurred. The campaign is now moving from long-range standoff strikes to direct attacks, allowing more targets to be hit, but raising the threat to pilots and aircrafts. And also, all hell is breaking loose throughout the entire world. The Trump regime has admitted that the U.S. air defenses may not be able to intercept many of Iran's one-way drones. The Trump regime apparently never prepared for this. So they're begging Ukraine for help again yesterday. Ukraine to help U.S. and its allies counter Iranian drones in the Middle East, said Zelensky yesterday. President Zelensky posted the following. We received a request from the United States for specific support in protection against Shahids in the Middle East region. I gave instruction to provide the necessary means and ensure the presence of Ukrainian specialists who can guarantee the required security. Ukraine helps partners who help ensure our security and protect the lives of our people. Glory to Ukraine. So Zelensky swooping in to help the United States as the Trump regime begs Zelensky for help. So you would think the Trump regime would be grateful. You would think that Donald Trump would say, what can we do for you, Zelensky? But instead, Donald Trump gave an interview to Politico yesterday saying the following. It's unthinkable that Zelensky is the obstacle to peace with Putin. You don't have the cards, Zelensky. Now he's got even less cards, Donald Trump told Politico. Trump maintained that Ukraine's leader is not showing the willingness to negotiate. Zelensky has to get on the ball, and he has to get a deal done, according to Donald Trump. Putin's ready to negotiate. Putin wants to end the war. I think Putin's ready to make a deal, but Zelensky isn't. Zelensky is the obstacle. So while the Trump regime is begging Zelensky for help to shoot down these Shahid drones because the U.S. doesn't have the capabilities and went into an unlawful war without figuring out how to do this at the kind of scale that's necessary to keep up with the munitions production. That's what Donald Trump's doing with Zelensky. But by the way, it gets even worse than that. Yesterday, the Trump regime removed all of the barriers for India to acquire oil from Russia, handing Russia a massive win. The U.S. Treasury yesterday, after the Trump regime begged Zelensky for help, the U.S. Treasury eases oil sanctions on the Kremlin, allowing Indian refineries to buy the millions of barrels of Russian crude on floating storage until at least early April. The new rules cover all of the oil already loaded in a tanker by March 5th, 2026. This is a massive win for Putin. And one of the things that's going on in the region of Eastern Europe as well is you have Hungary trying to provoke a war right now with Ukraine. So Hungary got a visit recently by the Russian top military officials and Putin's closest allies. And then right after that, Hungary, which is led by Donald Trump's buddy Viktor Orban, and the Trump regime is trying to keep Orban in power. There's an election coming up in about a month where Orban's Fidesz party is expected to lose to the opposition party. And Orban is trying to do anything he can to stay in power. So yesterday, Orban's Hungary took this isn't even getting reported anywhere, took 7 Ukrainian hostages and stole money belonging to Ukraine, $80 million, and threatened war against Ukraine. Here is what Ukraine's foreign minister is saying. Today in Budapest, Hungarian authorities took 7 Ukrainian citizens hostage. The reasons are still unknown, as well as their current well-being or the possibility of contacting them. These 7 Ukrainians are employees of the state-owned Oshad Bank who were operating 2 bank cars transiting between Austria and Ukraine and carrying cash as part of regular services between state banks. In fact, we are talking about Hungary taking hostages and stealing money. If this is the force announced earlier today by Mr. Orban, then this is a force of a criminal gang. This is state terrorism and racketeering. We have already sent an official note demanding an immediate release of our citizens. We will also address the European Union with the request to provide a clear qualification of Hungary's unlawful action, hostage taking, and robbery. So Hungary just took hostage multiple Ukrainians and also threatened the sovereignty of Zelensky. Ukraine has placed Hungary under blockade. We cannot negotiate with the Ukrainians. And then Orban kept on posting these videos of Zelensky saying the following: President Zelensky's threats are not about me. He's threatening Hungary. Unfortunately for him, he cannot stop me from protecting Hungarian families. And so do you see how Orban's behavior is just like Donald Trump's? Orban then posts, no accident, no coincidences. They're calling it a Ukrainian oil blockade. Just so you know what they're even referring to. Russian drones and ballistic missiles blew up something called the Friendship Pipeline, which allowed oil to go through Ukraine into Hungary and Slovakia, and Russia blew it up. And so Hungary and Slovakia are like, Ukraine, you got to build it quicker. And Ukraine's like, well, we'll do our best. But also that oil is used to kill us here in Ukraine. That's basically blood money. And Russia blew it up, and we're under attack by Russia every day with Shahed drones from Iran and ballistic missiles on our own that are attacking us. So if we start renovating the Friendship Pipeline that Russia destroyed, we're going to get targeted by Russian Shahed drones from Iran and ballistic missiles. But Orban writes, it's a blockade. It's an effort to remove Hungary's patriotic government, Zelensky and the Tyza party, that's the opposition party, and von der Leyen are scheming and pulling strings to achieve their aims. In April, Hungarians must choose the party that fights for them, not the schemers backed by Brussels and Kyiv. You see, Orban uses that same Trumpian Putin language right there. Orban's down like 15 points or so in the polling. So he wants to provoke a war right now with Ukraine and draw Hungary into the broader war. And Orban gave a speech yesterday saying there will be no deals, no compromises. We will break the Ukrainian oil blockade by force. Hungary's energy will soon flow again through the Friendship Pipeline by force. So Hungary threatening war with Ukraine. So just pull out for a second.